Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm LIANE. I'm LIANE. I'm LIANE. Are you ready to ride the Are you ready to ride the frequency? To ride the frequency? To ride the
Welcome to Riding the Frequency. This week, we have my friend, highly irregular. We have my friend, Neil GAUR. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm not having a chat with a two-dimensional drawing I did of Neil. I'm actually talking to Neil. So instead of reading bios and all this other stuff, I'm just going to post links down there and say that he's just a bunch of awesomeness wrapped in a wrapper called human being. And with that, here's Neil GAUR. Well, hello, Neil GAUR.
Hello, Leanne. Good to be here with you.
Welcome to Riding the Frequency.
I'm happy I finally made it here.
I think I've been trying to talk to you for as long as I've been threatening to do a podcast. That's for
Yeah.
me.
A cycle has completed today.
Well, it's funny that you said cycle because I'm going to hit you up about cycles. But for
Right.
my audience who doesn't know who the hell you are, this is my friend Neil. He's a creator of worlds. He created a whole huge world online called Portal to Ascension, to which anybody can travel back and forth instantly and get informed about so many things that you'll never find on mainstream. So, with
Exactly.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Neil GAUR.
Sure. Well, all right. I don't even know where to begin. We'll start at day one, the
Uh-oh.
beginning. Day zero. Well,
A countdown?
the journey is that, I was raised in England. I moved to California when I was 12, and I was raised into a Hindu family, right? So I used to say quite often for many years, and this is kind of like just it shows how I shifted from being a victim to my upbringing to kind of like realizing that it worked for me. And I used to say that I was an atheist Hindu because I was kind of pushing back anything that was doctrine and dogma that was put on me. But now the belief has shifted to realizing that because I was raised in this faith, I had never had that this is the only way imposed upon me, right? And like a lot of cultures do, not just the Abrahamic religions, but many other belief systems. And Hinduism, first of all, it was known as Hindu Dharma, which means laws of the universe. It never really was a religion until soon after the Muslim invasion, and then when the British came, it became more dogmatic like that. And there's so many truths hidden in that scripture. So it was kind of planting seeds for me to just be curious about what else is there and why there's so many um, connections to Hinduism to other religions. So that was kind of like how it all began. So when I was 17 years old, 17, 18, in the year 2000, I began wondering, well, is there a root to all religion? If anything like the story of Adam and Eve exists, right? And even if that story isn't what it is now, I believe those are tribes of people, not actual two individuals. But if anything like that existed, which must be the case because we must have come from lesser people on Earth and became more, what was there a religion that all other religions came from? And that was the journey that started me down this path. It took me down to the Anunnaki, the Sumerian scriptures. It even brought me into quantum physics and started looking at ancient civilizations and what they knew about the quantum world. And when you're looking into those two things, quantum world, traveling through space, ancient history, it's hard to avoid all of these scriptures that talk about advanced beings visiting Earth, right? And that was the trifecta for me. The three aspects that started my rabbit hole deep dive on all this information.
Well, I guess you've been doing this long enough that you've been able, like a good chef, to make a reduction sauce out of this information and like not say it in as lengthy a way as possible. That was a really
Yeah.
good. Thank you for that. Well, and so Portal to Ascension, you created that. What drove that? Like, I want to call you a creator of worlds. Like, I meant it when I said it, because Portal to Ascension is literally a whole universe. Forget world. It's a whole universe into which one can step that offers an array of information that allows one to think
Mhm.
about things that, need to be thought about. Um,
Mhm.
so thank you for that. You've really when they say that one person can affect humanity in big ways by just being who they are, you're definitely a walking, talking, living demonstration of that. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your hoo-ha. I'm just saying it's
No, I see it. Thank you so much. I received that. Yeah, that actually means a lot, you know? And I mean, we all have that ability to have that impact, but I just know what my purpose is here on Earth is to honestly, it's been a journey of figuring out how to heal myself and then looking at how to go through that has given me tools that then I share with people. And not only have I looked for modalities, like actual modalities that help heal emotional traumas, childhood traumas, and so on, but then information, knowing about this information, connecting to our ancient history, understanding how I can't pretend to know it all, but understanding on some level how the matrix works and why we're even in a matrix in the first place. You know, that just sheds light on all the things that I went through. And then I'm realizing that all the things I went through were set up for me to go and explore which ways to heal from those or to transcend those and then share it with the world. So I realized that even the challenges in my life has worked towards me creating what I've created for the rest of the world.
Well, I mean, that's things happen for me, not to me. And I've definitely adopted that. And I have to be honest, like just listening to you talk again right now, I've heard you speak about your childhood and your I mean, I can call it a transformation. Your journey, your unfolding, and we're not done, but it resonates with a lot of stuff, as you know, I came back here to take care of my mom and that set me off on a journey coming back to ground zero. Um,
Yeah.
Ground zero in New York. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely relate with that on a personal level, and I think a lot of people in the audience can also relate to that. And that said, um, I'm just going to get right into it. Well, first of all, what you're doing is one of the things I feel is a counteraction to let's call out our educational system. Like a long time ago, somebody, some R word last name, decided that we don't need thinkers, we need workers, and altered the education system so that the outcome would be a bunch of non-thinking
Mm.
9 to 5
Yeah.
program. And 123 years later, we can see the result of that.
Yeah.
A few of us escaped, and I'll say that my education came from my mother,
Hmm.
not from out there. Out there was a biofeedback, and it took me a lot longer to get to hear functionally, and it's not a race than you did. I think at a younger age, you went full force and dealt with your shit. But that, not to say that what I did was get my feet in the weeds and maybe I stayed in the weeds a little bit longer. But ultimately, like what you said, all of the crap that we have chosen and also been thrown into somehow cosmically, energetically, you need to have that so that you can fully come through it, out of it, and be able to model something and offer people tools.
Yeah. Right. And that's what portal to ascension is. And people have said to me many over the years, I started doing events in 2008. I would say maybe I've been getting emails since 2012 about this. Are you not afraid? Aren't you scared about what you're bringing up, right? And then I jokingly say when people ask me this now or bring this up, I'm like, well, no, thank you very much. I never even thought about being afraid until you mention it. You know,
Yeah, thanks.
thanks for,
No,
thanks for bringing that into my field. But the reason why I feel like no, because yeah, I mean, we deal with so many topics, right? It's like, for example, Joe Rogan. They freaking talk crap on a couple of things that they disagree with him on, as if this guy is some freaking far right crazy lunatic. But he speaks with 1,000 different people, and the stuff he is talking about that they consider that they're just lying and manipulating about anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much
the narrative.
more, and right. So, and with Portals Ascension, we have like thousands of topics. And yes, we go into conspiracies, the true like underlying things and the lies and the manipulation. But I would say the reason why first I always feel protected is because it's all wrapped in a blanket of spirituality, one, right? We're not focusing on the fear. And two, we're offering solutions. It's not like because there are some out there that are, and I was this too for a while, so into the fear because the spirituality has not just clicked yet of it working for us. It's still the victim mentality, the world, everything's working against us to try and screw us over. I was deep in that. Those were even my words. They're trying to F us over. And so then realizing that this is happening for us and offering, not just saying, okay, this is what's occurring, that's it. It's more like this is what's occurring, but this is what the bigger picture is of why it's occurring. And these are the tools that we can utilize in order to transcend from it. And guess what? Most of these tools aren't about taking action to the external. It's not about standing outside a school with a picket sign or picketing or protesting.
It's
It's
not.
about like going in within yourself to realizing why you even react that way in the first place. And then when you get to that point, and when majority of us all get to that point, say we all are angry at a specific thing, and we've all in that group have done that work to stop getting to a place of reaction, us coming together in a group setting can come up with a solution much easier than someone who's triggered because of something going the way they think it shouldn't be. So it always reflects to that inner world.
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've been hyper focusing to the point of alienating people who just can't keep talking about this over and over, but I'm literally obsessed. At what
About
point does humanity start identifying as an awareness? Speaking to it all starts inside. Like, I'm an awareness. I'm not Leanne. I'm not my body. Like, I've been binging near-death experience videos recently, and it just keeps revalidating. I'm an awareness. I'm an awareness. I'm an awareness. I'm an eternal energy. I'm an awareness. This is, when people say this is like a dream, it is. Like, this is a wrapper. I have a purpose here. And then when I'm not here anymore and I go home, you don't taste food, you don't cry, it's just being in that love. Like, so I can understand viscerally as an awareness why one would want to jump in here and experience even crazy fucked up shit because it
Mhm.
excites you. Like, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's kind of fun to do like bad stuff, stay up late, like do something mom told you not to. I mean, as long as it's not hurting yourself or others,
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to be a little sneaky sometimes. Like,
Right, right, right.
who, unless you're just lying to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Even the
Right.
Dalai
And we
Lama probably snuck a Hershey's Kiss after he brushed his teeth.
or maybe even a little doobie back in the day. Some Tibetan hash. Some Tibetan hash.
You never know.
Well, the thing is, like, so it's all about we're both, right? It's not about one or the other. It's like we're an awareness and we're the body. Yes, the body is the illusion, but the only way to engage is the illusion is to believe that you are it, right? So it's like, but you're right, because when you become an awareness in the NDEs, for example, they're having this experience of their identity transcending some reality and meeting groups of people, ancestors, Yeshua, whoever they're meeting, right?
Looking at their meat suit, being like, what is that? I don't even know
Right.
what that is. That person looks like they're in some kind of crazy, bloody, icky situation. Oh, shit, that's me.
It's me,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I have
what
no,
goes is their fear and anxiety goes, but the identity is still there. And it's like and on some level. But the thing is, since we've had many lives, how many lives and identities have we had? Okay.
so
So, yeah. So
infinite.
somebody once said, on a Bashar event, they're asking him a question. I feel like blah blah blah. He goes, I feel like I have multiple personality disorder. And then Bashar goes, no, we call it multidimensional personality order. That's
Yeah, man, like if that were the
what it
normalized
is.
terms, the shrinks would be out of freaking business, man.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like I've always resented people telling me I can't multitask. We're multi-dimensional creatures. What do you mean? Hyper-focusing is maybe not the normal thing. Like maybe both are
Right.
normal. But like why judge either? Why can't people just do them? Like as long as you're aware that you're a consciousness and that we're a singularity in consciousness and
Yeah.
awareness, like it's actually really simple to my mind, which is why sometimes I fall back into being challenged by the vibration of frustration and anger by this. Then again, like even Bob McGuire, when I started going on about how does the US, and these people, they send people like Jake Barber, and next thing you know is like, is that my pizza cheese or is that my arm that sloughed into my plate again? Like, who does that? But, if there are agreements, Jake and whoever works in the government agreed to play those roles so that humanity could figure it out. And that's just like the bumpers off of which our particular pinball of unfolding are bouncing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the greater understanding. That's the bigger picture that it takes a lot for people to really even fathom because you need to have an acceptance of there being more than this reality, and you need to also have an acceptance that it's outside of the regular organized religion dogma, because that dogma in general has created constructs in which you can't break free from. So it's like realizing it's working for us and all these systems and even the elite, the cabal, the freaking atrocities within government, celebrities, and all this stuff is actually here as a catalyst for growth. Damn, that's hardcore for people to fathom. A lot of people are in this world, but it's all in baby steps, right? And believe it or not, even UFOs and ETs, in my opinion, is one baby step.
I
It's
agree with
only
that
a
100%.
little bit,
But
right?
it's so funny, like here, how, like here's another thing that I noticed, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm listening to you. Um, this society, like the immediate gratification, like I have an iPhone 13, but really I want an iPhone 16 Pro with like one to this, so I've got space, and like I think all like just so I can
Yeah.
shoot my videos and stop. Just stop. Like it's not that. It's this idea of immediate gratification. It has to be now. As soon as you have the 14, you want the 15.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the people who do NDEs, here it's like, pardon the French again, it's a mind fuck because when you're not in a body, if you think of something that you want, it's instant. So it's like you could get spoiled. And if for some reason the veil doesn't work so hot and you have a remembrance of things being thought being instant, no wonder me personally get frustrated with what do you mean? I just thought it. How come it didn't happen? Like what? I still have that knee jerk, and I'm starting to think in this conversation that it's because that. In the
Because of
other
what?
place, when you think something and you want something, it
Uh,
happens immediately. How come
yeah,
that's not happening? There's always this lag, this gap of space
yeah,
between the thought and not always. Sometimes it's immediate.
right. Well, what a paradox is that? Is
Right.
like
What I'm saying.
patience is a virtue, yes, but then at the same time, everything exists in a simulation where the code of this simulation has been created to make us have to wait for things that are already coded into existence that exist now. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
So,
all in our DNA. It's all encoded in our DNA, which is even
right.
weirder because that's in like
Yeah. And so then so it is like in this world, by understanding and becoming patient, we end up really becoming people that can eventually create a world where we can actually get things instantaneously. What we have focused on, unfortunately, or maybe not so unfortunately, because I don't really think anything is unfortunate. I think everything happens for our fortune. And so it's like what's happened is that there are systems and devices like the phone that has been created to create instant gratification so we get things immediately that actually take away from our own ability to be present, to have patience. And I've done a deep dive on just going through emotional trauma myself in as a child and then figuring out how to heal it and then also coupling that with what it means to be a man in this world and what are the issues that men face and things that I'm reflecting on that. And one thing that's really huge within men compared to women is impulse control issues, impulse control. And there's a part of your brain, it's also connected to the amygdala that deals with this, where men want instant gratification, right? And so it creates smaller parts of the makes certain parts of your brain shrink, and that's what everything around us has become. It's actually there's already a trauma from these childhood experiences that then we have all these technologies to distract us from ever getting an opportunity to heal that trauma.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all depends on how you use the device too. I mean, if you're aware of that and then make choices.
Being aware of it, yeah. So what I've done is I have an app blocker on my phone where I'm not able to use 90% of all my apps from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. Yeah. And hey, but I gotta tell you, I've been stranded a couple of times without the ability to access Uber. But then after my 30 days was done and I reset it, I got the Uber app back to normal, so I can use Uber now. But it was funny because I was like, damn, I did this to help myself out, but here I am stranded without the ability to get a taxi.
Oh man. Wow. Okay, well, lesson learned. Every app except Uber.
But what I'm getting at is like, well, you know what works for you. For me, I have used my phone as a distraction. And just like for example, how many people walking down the street and they see somebody and they're uncomfortable, so they take out their phone, right? How many people have been in an elevator and then somebody else comes in the elevator because there's awkward silence in there, you go on your phone. You don't even need to.
I know. See, and I'm still that weird dude who people walk in the elevator and I do weird things
Just
like
like I
make
said.
eye contact and I say, "Hi,
Yeah.
how are you today?" People think that weird lady in 15B. No joke. Some people in
I
this
know, right?
don't.
Whereas you are like, what should be normal?
I'm like a child, but I've been doing this
Yeah.
since I was a child. I'll say hi to anybody. I'll talk to anybody.
Right, right, right.
Oh, if somebody starts getting uptight, I'll just start laughing. Like I don't avoid. I get in it further. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. It I enjoy being like that. I don't know how it's received by others, but that's not really my
For
problem.
both all types of ways. There's probably people that get triggered. There's probably people that welcome the opportunity to be present
I
and
like those
communicate.
ones better, but
Yeah.
it's good because it gives me, a thermometer like, oh, stay
Right.
away from that one and have compassion. Go hang out with that one. It's in your flock.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but coming back to this other stuff, Hermetic principles instead of Newtonian and Darwinian and like the Kabbalion.
Yeah.
Like if only they mandated that instead of
Yeah, no, right? And there's so many things that we could mandate that would help us out.
yeah, yeah. Like while you're signing executive orders, how about overhauling it's the Kabbalion and bringing back let's educate to make thinkers happen because
Yeah. Well, what I often say is like the solutions are very simple, but getting 7 billion people to all agree upon it is not. And that's also partly because we have media, we have governments also throwing out lies about the solutions that are beneficial for all of us, right?
human beings have no idea what they are. Somebody knows what we are and they're threatened by it, but that's again when enough of us start normalizing that discussion and maybe not getting angry, but just saying, hey, you know what? Hey, this is actually blocking our evolution as a species.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
you should rethink this. Hey, thinking. Oh, ideas. Ideas are things. They go into a field. The field expands. It comes back. Like, at what point, quantum mechanics. I was talking to Bob McGuire. He's like, well, they don't work. I'm like,
What
mm,
doesn't work?
quantum mechanics. He said, because they can't prove something. And what he said specifically basically demonstrated I want to choose my words carefully here, but I'm going to say it. I'll bite it. I'll bite the little worm in the hook. My gripe with uh here with science is that if they refuse to look, and it's getting better, but like if they insist on empirical evidence, you can't have empirical evidence on energy, frequency, and whatever. I mean, unless you're looking at what they're using energy and frequency for and how it's affecting the whole thing is wacky.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there
There's
in
things
front
that
of
there are things, yeah, there are things that are unquantifiable, right now because we don't have the technology to sense it. But there
Well,
are
the
a lot of technologies
concept.
that
We
exist
haven't
that are
accepted the
black budget.
concepts, maybe. We have not accepted the concepts we would need to accept to be able to create the technology because we're
Right,
still
and that's what's
stuck in.
happening with quantum physics. With quantum physics, it's paradoxical to Newtonian physics, and some people out there, I'm sure, just have the belief that no, a paradox cannot exist within science because that means that it doesn't hold up because how can the building blocks for the Newtonian world be based on quantum world, but the quantum world is paradoxical to Newtonian world? How is that even possible? Right? And so what's happening now is we're seeing the effects of quantum physics in this world from technology and from UFOs and declassified documents. But what like back to your point is people haven't grasped the full concept yet of what this really means. Not too many people take the moment to really sit down and wonder, well, what does the double slit experiments results really mean for what we are as humanity? Some people wouldn't even think like, why would I even think that? Well, double slit experiment. By the simple act of observing something, it acts differently than when you're not observing it.
That's what Bob said is why it doesn't work because of that. And it's funny how the same statement can be used for both sides of the
Both
argument.
ways.
That
Well,
just
I'm
blew me
curious to know
away.
his argument on it, right? Like, what is it? That's a fluke? I mean, every time they do the study, the same results come out.
Right. So there's your empirical evidence that every
Yeah,
time you observe something, that's when it collapses. That
right.
is the
In the
consistent.
quantum world, right? So,
Yeah, but I
but
think it
everything
happens
is
in this
made.
world too. Like,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Everything is made out of quantum world,
right.
right? So it's like if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, technically, if no one if no one is watching the tree, no, it doesn't.
Because no
Tech,
ears are there to hear it.
if it's a quantum tree, you know?
Is the cat dead? Sorry. I don't know. Let me go check.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah. So we're at the beginning. Well, the thing is, it's interesting. There's two worlds going on.
But
There's
that
the
brings us to
world of
cycles, doesn't it? Because isn't this where the
it
cycles are meeting in the two worlds, and then it's gonna shift finally out of the.
yeah, yeah. Yes, agreed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I got
No,
excited.
you did it,
You
Rose.
get excited.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it is the cycles because we're shifting out of that denser age, Kali Yuga, the dark age, whatever. Every age has a theme. Kali Yuga, delusion, authority, hierarchy. The Dwapara Yuga is energy and sovereignty, right? And in between each age is a 200-year transitionary phase. So we started leaving the Kali Yuga in the 1700s, and in the 1900s we entered the Dwapara Yuga. But to me, it's very interesting because energy has been dictated as the theme for the Dwapara age. And what happened in the beginning, the 1700s? Electricity. What happened in the 1900s? Quantum physics. What happens in the 2000s? Oh, we're all made out of energy. What happens when we finish the Dwapara Yuga? we realize we are energy and we are able to harness our own energy. So that is like part of it. So the quantum world is 100% tied into it. I think the understanding of the quantum world allows us to pierce through the veil and to start looking at the computer code behind the simulation.
Now you sound like Greg Braden because he
Yeah.
is right. There is one, you know?
Yeah.
And you look at all of the things, the predictions that can be made based on the code if you translate it
Yeah.
appropriately.
Yeah.
Like it's
Everything's a
all in the
matter.
book. It's all, but does that mean that it's been right? Because if the codes are all
Determined?
there,
Determined or what?
yeah, like if the
Well,
codes
that's the thing. Every one of us is a coder. And so but the thing is, we're unconsciously coding.
and decoding in our dreams, probably in our dreams.
Sure, exactly. But what happens when we start becoming conscious about it and we consciously coding our dream reality? So we can change the code to like just to kind of be silly to give ourselves wings. Like
What, how
we
is
can
that not, how is that different from like I smashed my foot last night and I swear to God, I might as well have fractured it. Or when I tried to
yeah,
pick up my mom and her dead weight and I compressed something
yeah,
and I literally went into like I was like, if Joe Dispenza can do it, and I literally imaged like everything being okay, the pain's gone, whatever. And like this morning, it is black and blue, but it's not as bad as what one would have thought it would look like this morning. So
yeah,
you can instruct your rapper as long as your subconscious belief system doesn't throw a spoke in the wheel.
exactly.
But you
Because
got to clean out.
there's collective belief systems, and part of the collective belief systems are you get injured from this kind of action. So that's what is a co-creation. So which is why when we get to critical mass and the majority of us shift our consciousness to this level, that's when we can change things. And pain as we know it won't be the same. Challenges in darkness won't be the same anymore, an experience of the world.
Easily transmutable. And
Exactly.
honestly, it'll make us behave as a whole, where male-female influence act together in one. I think a lot of things will be healed,
Yeah.
masculine, feminine issues that we have.
Right.
It
Right.
might be a more unisexly run because it won't even be about that. We'll just all be awarenesses and we'll have genders, but like maybe not be so wrapped up in all the adjectives because if they're being used to separate us, they're useless at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anything that I've noticed, anything that can really help support our evolution, a lot of those things have been hijacked. And the number one thing would be sexuality, right? So creating a distortion around it all so that and normally these things are really good movements that are then hijacked. And then if you go against like the extremeness that they have within this movement, then you're considered a bigot, racist, sexist, all this stuff, right? Where even if you might have questions, but it truly is most powerful force is our sexual energy and sexual nature. And the archetypes of creation ever since the beginning, the Big Bang was the two polarities and the duality was the masculine and the feminine energy. There was no gender attached to it at that point, right? So the hijacking of those energies has created a lot of distortions, and which is why as we bring these things together and balance them out, we're going to start thinking on a level that's so genius, that's so beyond what we even can fathom that we're doing right now. Imagine being able to think logically, linearly, and scientifically at the same time with your full creative potential online.
I think some of us are already showing signs of doing that,
Definitely.
and it comes out like, dare I say, like being able to reduce things into 3-minute musical experiences that can be repeated, right?
Yeah.
Because repetition is how our species seems to learn. We have to have it.
Mm.
So, your stuff, anybody who's writing music and doing artwork that is laced with these concepts that are direct, like smart bombs, you know? Um, my other question is quantum computers. How is that not another technological attempt at copying what human beings are by nature,
Mhm.
right? See what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, no, you're exactly saying what I feel because yeah, what I feel like computers are, robots are, AI is the original spark of source, which was let me create in my image and experience myself in something else. That is what that is for us. Every being that becomes sentient attempts to create something that is actually happening to them. Our subconscious mind is literally creating a phone with, you know what a phone is? It's a device where we can access a dimension of data that doesn't exist if we break open the phone. What is a hard drive? Right now, literally, humans have created a dimensional doorway for me to be able to communicate through you from a bunch of wires and a software on a computer that is truly just a software to access a dimension for us to communicate like this. It's
Right. And
almost like
wait,
the
take it a step
wormhole
further,
opens up.
communicate like this with no wires. Like
Yeah,
we're
exactly. Yeah,
okay, so now
that's what I'm saying.
we're
It's almost like we can like create a
like,
wormhole right here, right? And this wormhole is a bridge between you and I, and you're in your room, I'm in my room, and we can communicate because we have that technology. But what we've done is with our limited bandwidth that we've been within, we've created these external tools to mimic those things. So you're 100% right. Quantum computing, computing in general, device creation even, is us creating what has happened to us. We are, in my opinion, we are organic. Um, we are in a simulation, some sort of simulation infused with consciousness, an organic simulation infused with consciousness. And within that, we're attempting to do the same thing that's happened to us,
when the
creating.
majority of the collective accepts and agrees with that concept, it's gonna make the people who pray to God outside them because he's gonna smite them if they do the wrong thing. And oh boy, like I had that conversation with somebody, and part of me wanted to say, how do you know that the God that's acting like that and making you scared isn't the false God? Because the God I interpret would never behave like that in the
Yeah,
first place. It's neutral. It doesn't give a fuck.
yeah,
It's not going to send you to hell, and it doesn't worship itself. So why are you doing that?
yeah.
Like, and I don't mean to take away, like, my grandma used to say to my grandfather, who was an atheist. I never met the man, but I heard stories. And my grandma would say things to him like, "Oh, Sam, stop being so mean. If people need a crutch, it's," and okay, she called it a crutch. Mind you, she was raised Catholic, French Catholic, very like, fear of everything. Oh, Liane, don't hunch. People won't like you if you hunch. Like, what?
Mm,
Oh, Paulette, she says hello to everybody. Somebody's going to abduct her. Like, yeah, can it not be a human? I wish I had that smart comeback back then.
yeah,
You'd just been like, wait, what?
yeah,
But it seems to me, like you said, that the spark is of such interest and of such value to some people who do understand it, that the general public has been kept ignorant to what it is.
mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Um, so like I'm just really grateful. I guess it brings me back to grateful to be able to have these conversations. Period. There's a period. There's a
Yeah,
period.
we're all we're all trying to figure it out, and that is a part of the game. Imagine a game somebody coded in some lab somewhere, some office here in Earth, and then the game was a game of Clue where you go in there and you find all these clues and
The
these
ranch.
synchronicities and things. Yeah, and it's a mystery game, and you're trying to figure out what is going on or where you are, or even an escape room, which is probably another subconscious manifestation of what's happening to us.
I'm
Like we're
sure
in
about that. Don't
a
they look
massive escape room. We're in a
going to,
massive escape room.
right? And maybe that's why Bashar makes those because he's
And
trying to show us. Maybe have Bashar made Daryl make those,
that's too funny.
right? Metaphor.
Yeah,
Come to my metaphor for what's really
I know,
actually
right?
going on.
So it's like, so we're all trying to figure it out, and the saying goes, "Don't trust those who say they've already figured it out." You know.
Well,
But the
nobody's
crazy thing is,
arrived and nobody's figured it out. But again, it's what do you mean define figure it out intellectually? How is that
right?
even a thing?
Well, that's the
I
thing.
think
There's
we've
just
already
layers.
figured it out here, right?
Yeah,
Wearing pants. Thank
right.
you on fucking Zoom. People do weird shit below the waist. It's like I'm just wearing my box.
I know, right? It's wearing my
Turn
PJs.
into suits and boxers. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm wearing
I've done that before.
Levi's. Thank you.
Confession, confession. I've done that before.
I have too. I had a full on suit. I was talking to Rick Doty and I had boxers on. It's like, oh, please get up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, it's like even when we so that's the game. It's like that's the fun part is do you ever truly figure it out? And or do you get to a point where you no longer care so much about figuring out and you don't have the anxiety around figuring it out. You're just exploring creation as it's manifested for you or you've manifested. And maybe that's what the next chapter is. Maybe this one we have a little anxiety because we're like, what the heck are we? Where are we? Are we on this earth? Is there a God? Are we alone in the universe? That's like the underlying thing for all of humanity. And then we get to a point, okay, we understand we're not. Whoa, look at all these things that we have to play with.
It's
Planets,
because we
dimensions,
haven't been taught the art of being. Like your ego and your wrapper and this world is a playground. This is a toy. It's not a torture instrument.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and just maybe it's a matter of somebody in the energies like had a bad day, and because they had a bad day, they don't want anybody else to have one either. So they made this ideology to send
Yeah.
down to just mess with everybody because they're having their own little source tantrum. Like, I don't know.
And then the consequence of that is that it actually gives people bad days because then if you're focusing on just trying to create positivity in your life, you're ignoring all the other range of the expression of humanity that gives you more of a depth of joy, peace, you know. Speaking from experience, when I block out all that, I'm still deeply in the process now of really integrating all the traumas that happened to me in a way where I'm looking at it at a different angle.
Yeah, I've been doing a
So
lot of
long I was on the other side.
even in the last, it's funny that I'm talking to you this week and you're saying those things, and I've been doing these mental and emotional, because it does drip down exercises. Um, it seems like, when you do the dishes or just walking around the apartment and having your thoughts, like I don't think about how fucked up the world is. I think about, oh, that makes sense. Now I understand this dynamic and why that frequency like it, and it's just like, and then you can sort of let them go and reintegrate all of it and feel wholer and
Hmm.
navigate more freely and lightly or something. That's the result for me of what you just said.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people on Earth we're kind of, for lack of a better term, being forced to do that. You know, like things are coming up to the surface whether we like it or not. We have so much stimulation, so much expansion, so many experiences in one day. Just not even 100 years ago, let's say 50 years ago. There's a lot of places in the world where many people didn't even have cars to travel. They didn't even see more than just their local community for their whole lifetime. Maybe once they would have gone to a major city, you know? And think of how long humans have been on Earth. And for a very short period of time, we've had the ability to have stimulation upon stimulation. Then comes in the iPhone and the phones in general and our interaction with the phone. Now, even if you're in a remote village, your stimulation throughout the whole freaking day is quite substantial than maybe even 20 years ago for you, right? So we're having and what it is doing is these are all catalysts. These are all bringing things to the surface. So I feel all the stuff that's happening around us and increasing the stimulation that we have is only more of an opportunity for us to transcend things that would otherwise have been dormant. Some of these things could have taken lifetimes to meet over and over again. But now we're getting literally like slapped in the face daily with experiences to transcend. And a part of that is the universe and the position of our solar system in our galaxy is at a place that all this shit needs to come to the surface. Why? Because we can't take our baggage to the next dimension.
No. Well, I mean, we shouldn't be. Look, when I was in fourth grade, I went to the farm with my class at the Steiner School, and I was one of these people who, like, I don't like, and I think this is, I don't like leaving home. Like, wherever my home, I can make anything my home and my comfy space, but then when I'm forced to leave, I'm always like, eh. Maybe I recycled myself too early. Because it was important to come back and help. Like, I don't know. But my teacher said at one point, you've got to put your baggage down. And I thought to myself, I don't even know what I mean, I know what you're talking about. You're talking to like a 9-year-old, like, right? Because it was clear that I had been through some trauma and she was trying to get me to, but like Abraham Hicks says, words don't teach. Um, you got to go through your process. And when you're good and ready to let that stuff go, that's when you'll do it.
Yeah.
Stubborn. But it's true. There's a lot of baggage that a lot of people don't give themselves permission or know that they're the ones that need to give themselves permission. They're waiting for something outside of them. Again, it's this focus on, well, when this happens, then I'll.
Yeah. But I would say that everything that has, like, on the positive side of all this, everything that has happened, only all the negative stuff that they impose upon us only backfires to wake more people up. And
That's what
yes,
I feel like.
there's a journey of self-discovery. There's a journey of still having wounds in this process, but that journey of self-discovery eventually gets us to a point where we're able to find inner peace. And I feel more and more people waking up right now. A lot of people are waking up to the conspiracies of the world because we've been lied to so hardcore, manipulated so hardcore when it comes to so much, but you definitely when it comes to UFOs and ETs as well, that there's going to be a phase of like, wait a second, my identity is shocked. The government is set up in a way that it's archetypally our father, our daddy issues are connected to it, right? Because it's that father. Every 4 years, it's an abandonment issue with the father, and it's being gaslit by your father. Every 4 years, let's just take the US for example, daddy comes home and returns. Daddy makes all these promises to you. And then he gets in, and then he comes back, and then he lies. And then 4 years later, or even before that, he abandons you, you know? And it's this ongoing thing, but we still want daddy's love. We want daddy to, and we want to trust daddy. We want to believe he's going to come home. We want to believe he's going to take us out onto, to that restaurant that he said he was always going to take us to.
Play catch with us in the backyard, like he said he was gonna. Yeah.
So this is like a reparenting. This is the masculine feminine energies as well. We got to reparent ourselves and take our
So
power
much
back.
nicer though. Like that's really deep that you say it like that. I'm nasty. I just say it's like a bunch of Stockholm syndrome victims who love their abuser. What the fuck is going on here?
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with daddy issues, right? Your dad could have abused you, and a lot of times you still, even if you were like, get out of my
Matter
life,
because you
right?
want that love. And that goes back to the NDE people who are just
Yeah.
like, why the hell would I want to go back there when I finally got the love I've been looking for?
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to go back because it's that on the other side. So that's
Yeah.
part of the spark. That's part of who we are, right? It's like finding your way back inside, like you said, to your own spark, which is the spark, which makes you the 0 point and the creator and all of the other things
Right.
that fall in a domino
Everything.
effect.
Yeah. Some people, like, when I jokingly say with people just like hanging out, like, oh, you'll do that in your next life, or I'll see you in the next life or something like that. The amount of times I've heard people, I'm not coming back here, or like,
You say that
or
now.
and I say, yo, but we're creating a new world. Of course you're gonna want to come back. Plus, when you're gone, then yeah, to that point right there, when you're gone, it's you and you transcend the ego and the fear, and it just becomes a great experience, right? It's
Right.
almost like looking at a video of a roller coaster and be like, yo, that roller coaster is so cool. I can't wait to try it out. And then you're on the roller coaster and you're like, oh my
Like,
God, why did I say I want to do this?
right.
Yeah, that's a new analogy that came to me. I got to use that one. But that's pretty much, you're like going up, about to drop, and you're like, holy crap, why did I sign up for this?
Makes me want to use my logic and edit in a little like roller coaster going clink, clink, clink,
Do
clink,
it.
clink.
And then when you're off the roller coaster, what happens? That was so freaking cool.
With your hands up screaming. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
like think about it when you were bouncing around in your mom's womb before you filled it all up and you were just still floating around in water. If she's out, jogging, what the hell do you think it feels like? A roller coaster. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
right.
there's part of like that kind of I want to go on a ride that really brings you back to that inside your mommy's tummy before the space was all gone
Oh,
because you were too big.
yeah,
It makes
yeah,
me feel like that a little bit.
yeah. Earth is a I feel that is a good analogy for Earth. We are on this like epic ride over here, and we forgot the best way to have a ride is to forget that you even chose to be on the ride. That's the best way to play through it. But that's what I think that's what we thought. We thought that the best way to have a ride is to forget that we were going on a ride and just be in the ride. But from my new research and my new regressions on Orion, I think we thought something, but I think that we can actually create something new and an epic journey will still full remembrance. And I feel that's what Earth's journey is about. Earth's journey is integrating not all the DNAs, all the ETs, all the galactic genetics that didn't even interact with each other in our galaxy for maybe millennia, all on Earth in order to figure out how to live new, where we are truly the embodiment of the harmony of our galaxy. When it comes to extraterrestrials, when it comes to transcending wars, we are the peace offering between beings and civilizations because we have their DNA, mixed in us.
Like we are the Switzerland beings that will.
Yep. Yeah, this is full of analogies and metaphors today. This whole thing, but I freaking love it. We could create a book of consciousness metaphors from this podcast.
Oh my gosh. We could. It'll be like a
Yeah.
coffee table book
I
for the
know.
new humans.
Yeah.
Right, they probably won't drink coffee. They'll probably all be breatharians. How do you make a breath table? I don't know.
I know, huh?
Breath table. What does it look like?
There is no breath table. It's just air. You don't need it at that point. You just levitate.
That's okay, then the book can just levitate.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Wow, we've covered a lot of stuff here.
No, right? It's a beautiful journey that we're on, and every single day I just affirm to myself a little bit more and move towards it because I definitely have good amount of days where I don't feel like I'm on a good journey? And so
Um,
it's like right now it's a good time in my life where I'm truly starting to take ownership of what I'm doing more than ever. And just knowing like what would happen if I move forward with more full confidence without doubting my mission as much. And believe it or not, like even though I've done so much, done so many events, I have moments often enough where I'm doubting what I'm even doing. And ultimately, like what is my dream and goal in life for myself, right? And what if I was to tell you what I want for myself, it's to feel joy, you know? And so a lot of what I do is creating joy for the world and uh, and attempting to create it for myself, right? And some of these things, believe it, like, is crazy because you might even go into some dark aspects. But why are we talking about that? So that these things can be dealt with and processed, so we can have clarity and move through it, so that
right.
we can get to a truer sense of what it means to be human. And I think what we can really be is we can live in joy, we can live in love and connection. But if we deny all the other stuff that's happened, it's not, maybe it's a false sense of joy, right?
No, I
And
mean, how I say it is you can live a joyful life and be aware that there's a bunch of crazy things going on out there. You can be aware of it without participating and counteract it by modeling something different, knowing full well that it's there and not choosing to participate at a level that keeps it going, right?
yeah.
Because you can participate in the offsetting of that without participating in it. Did that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Make sense to
It's
me?
like being in the world but not off it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hmm. Yeah. It's a very interesting moment for us. There's so many things that are going to happen on the planet. I think within the next 2 to 3 years, the world as we know it is going to be unrecognizable from right now. Technology, infrastructure, AI, quantum computing, UFO disclosure, technologies that even us within this world, you and I, can't even fathom exist because they've been so hidden, communication with ETs, understanding our galactic ancestry. Those are all the things that are in store for us, that are right here, right now, for the next few years. And the world as we know it could be very different. So
Well, I'm grateful
we're
in advance for all of it. How's that?
here for the
I'm in
ride.
deep
Yeah, me too.
gratitude for the unfolding of that, regardless
Yeah,
of what's going on around me right now.
right, 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 right.
Like seriously. I mean, sometimes that's words, sometimes I have to say it more than once, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because there are definitely like human things going on in the unfolding of LIANE that are just like whack.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not gonna make me have a bad day. Like I'm not doing
No,
that.
that's why you're awesome. You're like you have things going on, but you still bring your amazing energy around it all.
Thank you.
And then
I
and you're not and you're it's not like you're I can see that you don't like neglect what's happening and pretend to be positive. You are just authentically expressing yourself and choosing to emanate this love even when these things are chaotic around you. You
thank
know
you.
what I mean?
I'll receive that gratefully. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. It's a good learning lesson for like just knowing you. That definitely has contributed a reflection in my life. But I feel like part of my journey is how do you become the stillness in the storm, right? How do you stay centered within yourself, even if your external reality is chaotic?
I've been described as the storm so many times. Ugh, you want to be in my eye, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, so last time I talked to you, you were building a place like for people to gather. Is that still happening? Or did that
You
get
mean
promoted
like what? You mean
to
like a
South
community?
America? Like, or did you?
Yeah, so when, that was kind of like the dream, and it still is. And I think last time we spoke, I visited a couple communities,
Well,
and so
yeah.
I got some like ideas on what I can want to do, what don't want to do. And that's the goal still. I don't have like a date on when it's going to happen. But as I'm growing Portal to Ascension next year to 2026, I have a lot of 2026, 2027, game on. I'm fully invested. So much going to happen. Three conferences around the world in 2026. One 10-day Greek island Mediterranean cruise. 70 online events. 2027, the biggest conference we've ever done called First Contact San Diego. And then there's going to be a 4-day, 1,000 person Tulum music festival, right? These are all building up momentum. And then my intention is to, generate enough income from these to take a percentage of the income and put it into building an intentional community. That's the whole thing has always been create these events, bring in the abundance, and I don't need any investors. Like I just have this thing about what I'm creating is going to bring in everything that I need to start creating villages around the world. And I think there will be a day, maybe within the next 2 to 5 years, that I'll be not just myself though. I want to have like a council of people and I want to create like, okay, this is the new society we're going to create. This is how the educational system is going to look. These are the people that are going to be the facilitators.
Somebody
There's
has to do this. You're building
there's
an
going to be no leader.
infrastructure that
I
to
don't,
take over for what the current
right.
dysfunctional
Well,
systems are. Like
the
this,
old system is crumbling, right? It doesn't serve everybody,
I
right?
think
Like for
that's
example,
crumbled. I think it crumbled a long
it
time
has.
ago, and we're just catching up with it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because like for example, and I don't talk on any crap on any specific political movement because even when it comes to communism, it was based on Marxism and then they had some other valid stuff in there and all that. But even capitalism, people like hate on capitalism. I don't hate on capitalism in general, but I believe crony capitalism that's unregulated, where corporations are allowed to have the same human rights as regular humans, which is the system we exist within, is super shady, right? And what this does is it creates a system where you need to rely on a working servant class. And there needs to
That's
be
why they
poverty.
changed the educational system to make a bunch of workers because
Right.
that's what we are for them. Like that. That's
It needs
like
to be poverty and income inequality. This system would not work if there wasn't income inequality. So with AI, technology, all these things used in a conscious way, we could create a new system where it could work for everybody on the earth.
even playing field for everybody when it comes
Yeah.
to humanity issues. I agree. But um, there are some people who aren't gonna like that. Oh well.
There's enough people that do want it. And now we're seeing that there's people within government that want it,
Hey man,
which is great.
instead of having a Starbucks on every corner, I would rather have like a Neil community on every corner. if I had my druthers.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things. Maybe we like give away this we can create the system in such a good way that a lot of things that benefit our health and longevity could be a part of, welfare. That's the welfare. Free sound healing chambers.
There are 60 apartments in my apartment building. And if I could get the majority of the people in this building on board with creating a conscious community out of our building where each apartment throws down something, whatever it is that like it creates that, like
Yeah.
having weekly meetings discussing higher concepts amongst ourselves and trying to help people like shed the dogma that they've been
Mhm.
indoctrinated by. Like, I don't, there has to be a way to just have like weekly village meetings without,
Oh yeah. You're speaking my language because I've always wanted to for like 7, 8 years now. I've been toying with the idea. I'd call them PTA town hall meetings because PTA Parent
Portal
Teacher
convention.
Association, World Extension, but PTA meetings, right?
I've never
Parent Teachers.
done well with the PTA. I
But
wonder
yeah,
why.
but like they have that name, PTA. So I was like, oh, PTA meet town hall meetings. And I took the town hall component from like the government having town hall meetings during elections. PTA town hall meetings that are portal to ascension town hall meetings around the world where weekly or monthly in a specific area, people get together to talk about ideas, conscious collaboration, connection, meditation, unify. And I want to have that all around the world as central hubs. And so I've started one, finally started one. It doesn't start, the first one is in 3 weeks. It's in
You invite
Sedona.
politicians. What if you
Oh,
invite politicians? What if like in New York City we were to do something like that and like just invite all the politicians and see if any senator, any congressman from New York, any assembly person from New York would want to
yeah,
participate in something like that with their constituents to try to create conscious, coherent constituencies who are learning about heart math, like all that stuff.
yeah,
Like I wonder if
yeah.
there's a program that could be started instead of,
That's a good
art
idea.
people.
And
Like
I think more people are going to be open to it soon. And I think soon, yeah, because even within these people, what are most of these politicians? They're fundamentally Christian, fundamentally, right? And it gets to a point where if you're fundamentalist, the real fundamentalist thinks that yoga and meditation is of the devil.
right.
You
Tim
know?
Burchett is still saying that CE5s, that's some kind of seance, and then they're calling down them craft, and I think they're doing seances. Some of them people who are talking about them meditations, I don't know. He's like, and I'm going, no, that's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
There's a difference. What's demonic is people trying to incur the apocalypse so that they can have the rapture happen because they have decided that, they're
Right?
like, what?
That they need to do evil in order to make sure that the second coming
But
happens even
Jesus
quicker.
comes. Jesus will come if we do really bad stuff.
That's the Kali Yuga, the age of delusion. That if I could name, if I came up with a name for this time, it would be the age of being gaslit. It's like, that's what happens. Like the government's the biggest gaslighter.
Gaslit Yuga.
Yeah, that's too funny.
I told Frank Jacob the other day that like the world needs a quartetinous shot.
Yeah.
At the Arlington Institute. I like their talks. Penny Kelly and Greg Braden and John Peterson, and now they've got Frank Jacob. So the four of them talk, and I love
Nice.
their talks, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like they're called the quartet. So I said the world needs a
Yeah.
quartet in the shot.
That's so funny. Yep, yep.
I'm gonna tell Penny that in our interview. I'm talking to her on the 14th of May. So I've gotten two
Cool.
out of the four in the quartet. Now my next hit, Greg Braden and John Peterson.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I'm just grateful. I'm just I'm just grateful that, the people that are supposed to come hang with me do, and I'm happy about that. And that's
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, we are definitely all doing our part, and just having these conversations just gives us the opportunity just to think more deeply on what is everything, what is the nature of reality, and how do we create a beautiful world that works for everybody. That's ultimately if like what my mission is attempting to figure out ways that we can create a world that works for all of humanity. and that we can all feel joy, peace, and happiness.
Yeah. And so when we wake up in the morning, it's excited about what we get to create, not about all the
Exactly.
things that we have to deal with. Like it would be
Exactly.
nice to wake up one morning and see that the world is living in that uh template. You
Yep. Yep.
that's a conscious evolutionary shift that needs to be something that's active. But again, like you said, unless and until people can handle the information not as doomsday information, but as information that's there so that you are aware of something, then you can make
Mhm.
a choice as to how you'd like to respond or if you'd like to even participate, not just have the way it is jammed down your throat by the three people who need it to be that way for whatever whacked out reason because they did daddy issues because they probably have daddy issues.
Yep.
I'm so
And
sorry.
we all have our own inner compass that can guide us. And Earth was at a dense level that avatars needed to come to remind us because we had a veil over our eyes. But that veil no longer exists. It's all self-imposed at this moment. The galaxy, the cosmic waves aren't reinforcing the veil, whereas before it was. Now it's only our own belief systems and minds that are in that way.
So much more
So
absurd, which is why I laugh so much because it's how is that not absurd? You know.
yeah, well, belief systems are clouding us. That's the thing. Well, this has been indoctrinated for so long. We don't know anything else besides this, you know?
Well, so then
And
when they say that, the non-human intelligence are like gathering and watching it because it's like the best sitcom in the galaxy, they're not kidding.
uh-uh, no. Yeah,
Right.
I would say we're the greatest light show in the universe right now. It's very, from an outside perspective, it's probably very entertaining.
I'm sure it is, man. It's like the
A lot going
actuality
on.
reality show, like it's like Jersey Shore.
Yep.
Oh man. Wow. Well, I like to make riding the frequency fun, but also touch on very serious things. And I think
Yep.
we accomplished that. I don't
I
know
think
what
we did. We did.
time
I
is
would
it.
like to I'd like to share. Yeah, I gotta head out in a minute, but I'd like to share something coming up at Portal to Ascension if that's
Well, but
okay.
before you do that, can like one of the things that Neil does that I didn't say is
Uh-huh. Tell
he does
me.
the most fabulous written word and spoken word. Sorry, he writes them and then he speaks them. But most of them are locked up he's got them all memorized. So throw something at me. Do a little word spitting at me, please. And thank you. Is that okay? Could you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Because you always hype up my energy, right?
Oh,
So, but
hanging around with that Leanne, you always come back all whooped up.
and because so my day today, I was so tired and so groggy all day. It was insane
I
because
know it.
I'm training for a half marathon. So I've been running 6 miles a day, and it freaking caught up with me this morning. I was so dead, and I was like, oh, I gotta tell Leanne I gotta postpone. And then I was like, I can't freaking postpone again. And the reason why I came on is because I knew I'm always comfortable around you, always comfortable talking to you. Your energy is so great and so uplifting. I was like, oh, it'll be a good thing for me to have an infusion of Leanne. Okay? There you go. That's my spoken word.
That's my head swelling.
All
Like it.
right. So on that note, I'm going to do a very subtle one, not a hardcore one, because that's my energy today. Okay? Okay. But it's still good, I feel.
Okay, wait, let me change the view without stopping the recording. I've got, oh my gosh. Okay. The view. We're gonna speaker view. I'm gonna bye bye. Oh,
All right, here we go. All right, everybody. So let's just take a moment here and go ahead and close your eyes for a few moments. Let's take a few breaths together. In through the nose, filling up your lungs, out through the mouth, emptying your lungs all the way, in through the nose, out again. And as I share the following spoken word piece and words, let's go ahead and continue connecting to your breath, feeling the life force energy, the beautiful oxygen going in your body and out of your body. and I shall begin. Meditate and levitate. Waves of frequencies resonate higher. I'm connected to the provider. Source of cosmic energy. We're going to be one single entity. Expansion remedied. Oneness must breathe. Exhale and let free. Consciousness be. Experiences of you and me. Souls of interdimensional beings to feel, hear, and see this third dimensional planetary existence. All time, all time, all time, all time can be found in one instance. In this realm of linearity, atoms in anarchy, quantum polarity, the epitome of creation. Facing our egos, acquiring patience, waiting to let go of our nations, and join the federation of souls that will take us to the fifth world. And join the federation of souls that will take us to the fifth world. And join the federation of souls as we enter the fifth world. Deep breath in, everybody. Deep breath in. Exhaling out of the heart. There you go. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Um, yeah, that was I don't know, but like it just really I've been like in a real like Craig Campobasso state of like just weeping at the beauty of everything this last couple weeks. Like I just not sure what it is. But I just want to say thank you. That was very moving and so all the truth and so all where I've been living in my feels and in my thoughts. So Neil, that was
Mm,
perfect and it was beautiful.
thank
And
you.
so I'm gonna pull myself together now and you're gonna tell everybody about what's next at Portal to Ascension.
Yes. Okay, so for everybody tuning in, best way to find out everything is portal2ascension.org. And, we're doing a conference next year in San Diego. We have a 10-day mysteryschoolatsea.com. Mysteryschoolatsea.com is that 10-day Greeks, island, and Turkey cruise. But if you go to portal2ascension.org, sign up to our newsletter. And then also we have all of our upcoming events under upcoming events, San Diego conference, Sedona conference, Glastonbury, England conference, online university with a lot of content there. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/portal to ascension. But if I was to give you just two things to do, please do sign up to our newsletter because you get updated on all the amazing things happening. And then if you want to support us on YouTube as well, so we can get that awareness out to more people there, we have a video going out every other day. And we just have a lot of amazing things in store for the next few years. I've taken a year off from live events because it's still a lot of work to do on a live event for sure. But I'm really like taking like 14 months to prepare for 2026 to 2027. That's how much love, intention, and energy is going into what we're creating. So if you want to be a part of it, check us out on our website.
I highly encourage that. And not because, I'm here to promote anybody or anything in particular, except please, for goodness sake, remember you're the awareness. Act
Mm,
accordingly. So, Neil, thank you so much for spending time with me. I will
thank you.
eventually take you off of my closet wall
I
and
can
send
see it.
you to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you,
That's
Leanne. I
lovely.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. You'll have to update your address with me. Give me a little
I
text.
will.
So much
Yeah.
for joining us. You guys, go find Neil. Go to Portal to Ascension. Just be careful because you might not come off your computer for like, 7 months if you start binging the stuff.
And then you come to our live event and you can celebrate with us.
Ah, it'll be fun. All right. Thanks for riding the frequency with us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that talk with Mr. Neil GAUR. He's one of my favorite people. He's a good guy. Definitely go check out Portal to Ascension. I'm sure even the most closed-minded person can find something on there that would open their minds a little bit. So with that, I'm gonna go take care of this. I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of sexy, but it's kind of dirty. I don't know why those two have to go together out my mouth, but they just did. In any event, you guys keep riding the frequency and remember, you're the awareness. See you next time.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you on?
Frequency, frequency, frequency. I'm LIANE. I'm LIANE. I'm LIANE. Are you ready to ride the frequency? Are you ready to ride the frequency? To ride the frequency?